My wedding is hosted by a major company. You, as a subcontractor, don't belong here. Leave now. What? I was stunned and held my breath when the bride, Jennifer, the star of today's wedding, said something unexpected. You wouldn't expect to be told to leave in the middle of a wedding. But right after that, I heard a low voice next to me. So, that's the conclusion from Jennifer. Then we'll all be leaving. My father, standing next to me, gave a stern look at Jennifer and then signaled to the wedding attendees. As a result, Jennifer lost everything in an instant. My name is Chris Davis. I'm turning 35 this year. I've been running the construction company I inherited from my father for 3 years. Aiming to be loved by the local community, I work hard every day. While learning business management and client relations from my father, the former president, I've been diligently working. As a young second-generation president, I've faced various challenges. But thanks to my reliable father and employees, I've overcome each one, and recently, I found my own way of doing things. I want to continue to grow both the company and myself at this pace. Just when I was thinking about that, this incident happened. One day, I received a wedding invitation and tilted my head in confusion. The sender was Jennifer Williams, a department head at a major client company. She's in her 30s, a female department head who graduated from a prestigious university and is on the fast track to success. But she's proud of her high academic background and judges others by their education. Having started working at my father's company right after graduating middle school, she saw me as an uneducated subcontractor, which was a problem. So, I didn't expect someone who usually looked down on me to go out of her way to invite me to her wedding. I understand why Dad got invited since he's the former president, but why me? Well, you're the president now. Maybe Jennifer has finally recognized you. My father's words helped me change my mindset. Whatever her true intentions, she invited me. I marked my attendance and waited for the wedding day. On the day of Jennifer's wedding, a very large venue was prepared, fitting for a department head at a major construction company. The groom is said to be a young elite from a client company, and there are many participants from his side. The wedding guests included business partners and acquaintances from political and financial circles, likely exceeding 300 people. The bustling celebration was packed with so many people that finding my name on the seating chart handed out at the reception was a challenge. I finally got to my seat and settled in with my father. The wedding ceremony, which started after a while, was grand and splendid, fitting for a department head of a major company, and we were dazzled. As the bride and groom began making their rounds to each table, they approached our seat. Suddenly, we heard a surprised shriek and a voice looking down on someone. Inappropriate for the occasion, and my father and I turned around simultaneously. Is that you, Davis? What are you doing here today? The person who spoke to me was the bride of the day, Jennifer. She looked beautiful in her pure white dress and makeup, but as soon as she opened her mouth, her usual sarcasm came out. Even at such a joyous event, she couldn't resist harassing me, a subcontractor. Congratulations on your wedding. I received an invitation, so I'm here to attend. You're attending too? Her feigned ignorance made me feel irritated inside. But it seemed Jennifer was genuinely surprised by my presence, as she looked at me with a blank expression. Yes, I confirmed my attendance, and I received this invitation. I see. I'm sorry. It must have been a mistake that the invitation was sent to you. Jennifer snorted mockingly as I showed her the invitation. Then she crossed her arms arrogantly and declared, "It was a mistake to invite you, Davis. Could you withdraw your attendance?" Withdraw? What do you mean? Not understanding what she meant, I furrowed my brows in confusion. Jennifer then smirked unpleasantly and started laughing so hard that her wedding dress shook. This is my wedding hosted by a major company. Subcontractors are out of place here. Leave now. Excuse me. I was stunned and couldn't react immediately. You wouldn't expect to be told to leave in the middle of a wedding. But Jennifer, pointing at my shocked face, laughed and threw more harsh words at me. Today, I am fortunate to have many executives from the company and important business partners attending. They are all elites with status and education. After declaring that, Jennifer looked around the venue. Many of the guests enjoying the food and conversation were dressed in expensive suits and wore substantial watches. Compared to them, you're just a subcontractor, right? The important guests will celebrate for me, so you can leave now. Is that really what you think? I wanted to celebrate with you, but that's disappointing. I couldn't help but let my frustration slip out. No matter how many times I've been reminded that I'm a subcontractor and should be grateful for the work, I've always tolerated it because she's an important business partner. That's why I came today to sincerely celebrate Jennifer's happiness. Yet, she didn't understand my feelings at all. In the end, that's how she truly feels. When I realized that, I heard a low voice from beside me. So, that's the conclusion you've reached, Jennifer? Dad? My father, sitting next to me, was quietly fuming. His intense presence made the previously confident Jennifer show signs of anxiety. Is there a problem? Just like in business, I choose who to invite to my wedding. It's only natural for insignificant subcontractors like you to withdraw voluntarily. I see, being treated with such disdain, we can't stay quiet. We will all be leaving. As soon as he said that, my father stood up forcefully and called out, "Everyone, we're leaving." Immediately, guests around our tables started standing up one after another. Like a receding wave, people began to leave, and Jennifer watched in stunned silence, her mouth opening and closing. However, she managed to regain her composure and called out to the departing guests. "Wait a minute, what are you all doing? Can't you see? Everyone is leaving." I answered instead of the guests, and Jennifer frowned, pouting her lips. "Don't mess around. This is my wedding, you know." It seems they don't think it's worth attending. Supporting my words, people continued to leave, and soon half the seats were empty. Seeing this, Jennifer began to frantically mess up her hair and shout, "This is unbelievable. I'm a department head at a major company. And yet, business partners and even my own colleagues are leaving without reason. It's outrageous." Shouting this, Jennifer tried to stop a passing guest. However, the person shook off her arm irritably and headed straight for the exit. Watching the crowd dwindle like a receding wave, Jennifer finally started to tear up and became visibly angry. "Why are you being so mean? What did I do?" "It's because everyone heard what you said, Jennifer." The one who answered her was my father, already prepared to leave. While politely responding to other guests, my father confronted Jennifer with the truth. "Everyone heard you tell the subcontractors to leave. They're just following your instructions. Is there a problem with that?" "I said that to you too. Why did everyone else hear it?" Crying out of anger, Jennifer's makeup was ruined, making her look quite a mess. But I stepped forward calmly and pointed next to her. There stood the groom, James Thomas, holding a microphone. The mic for the speeches was still on, so everything you said was heard throughout the venue. "What? No way." Jennifer turned pale and checked the mic in a panic. She was clearly distressed. Her panic indicated that she knew her words to us were inappropriate. Next, she turned her anger towards the groom, James. "Why did you leave the mic on?" "Because of that." The guests left. I kept the mic on to thank the guests, but more importantly, what you said to the Davis family was far more disrespectful. James, who usually seemed kind, must have been quite shocked by Jennifer's outburst. With a sad expression, he strengthened his tone to try to reason with her. "Do you even know who Davis is, or how significant his father was?" "What? He's just the president of a subcontractor company, right? How ungrateful of him to treat me, who gives him work, like this." Jennifer glared resentfully at my father as she surveyed the now nearly empty venue. But my father met her gaze head-on and started laughing heartily. "Well, it seems you're only interested in paperwork. When I was in charge, I dealt with your subordinates, so you know nothing about me." "Excuse me, what do you mean?" Finally, Jennifer seemed to sense something was off with my father's confident demeanor. Looking around anxiously, James calmly explained to her, "Watch your mouth. This man has led the local construction industry for 40 years. What? This ordinary-looking old man? You must be joking." Jennifer refused to believe it and pointed at my father, laughing hysterically. However, as she noticed that everyone around her was watching her behavior with serious expressions, her laughter gradually faded. "Stop joking. Even if he's well known locally, he's just a subcontractor, right? To us, the main contractor. Subcontractors are like dust. What on earth do you do at your company? Even I, who don't deal directly with them, know the name Will Davis." Seeing James finally getting angry, with veins bulging on his forehead, Jennifer began to realize her disadvantage. She looked back and forth between my father and me with a strained smile. "No way, this can't be true, right? Even if he's a president or a manager, we're the ones giving them work." It was clear that Jennifer still didn't understand. With a sigh, James raised his voice. "The former president is very well known locally. He plays a crucial role in the construction industry, managing the workforce. Without him, we couldn't even get enough workers to build a single house." "That can't be true." Jennifer tried to laugh it off, but she quickly froze. Everyone in the venue was glaring at her seriously. Noticing this, she began to look around anxiously. James, watching her calmly, continued, "Why would I lie to you, even if you think it's not true? Why would the groom lie to his bride about something like this? But Davis's company is a subcontractor to ours. I'm the main contractor, and Davis is the subcontractor. Clearly, I have the higher status." Despite her anxiety, Jennifer glared defiantly at my father and me. It's beyond anger now, just pitiful that she can't understand her position. As I watched quietly, my father slowly began to speak. "You don't have to believe me. I'll just keep doing my job. We've had a good relationship with your company for decades, but times have indeed changed." That calmness, could it be that you're really more important than me, a department head at a national construction company? Sweating, Jennifer looked pleadingly at James standing beside her. When she saw James nod quietly, she began to sweat profusely. Grabbing her dress with both hands, she tried to excuse herself. "I really didn't know. If I had known your status, I would have spoken differently." "My status doesn't matter. Discussing who is higher or lower at a wedding is inappropriate." My father spoke, clearly exasperated, and I felt the same way. Even after all this, Jennifer still didn't understand the main issue. If she could just apologize, we might find a way to smooth things over, but it seemed impossible. Expecting her to be embarrassed, I was surprised to see her smiling confidently. For some reason, Jennifer suddenly brightened up after hearing my father's words. Wiping the sweat off her forehead with her white glove, she became even more defiant. "That's right. If it were a work-related statement, fine. But this is my wedding. This is completely private. Interrupting my wedding, no matter how important you are, is just plain rude. Have you forgotten how persistently you were asserting the company hierarchy just a moment ago? It was you who brought work relationships into your private time, Jennifer." Unable to hold back any longer, I spoke up. I worried I might have overstepped, but it seemed unnecessary. Everyone around was already shocked by Jennifer's selfish behavior. Even Jennifer herself seemed momentarily struck by my words, realizing the truth in them. However, instead of reflecting, she began to make excuses. "That's not what I meant. I just lost my temper because my wedding was being ruined. You understand, right? It is truly unfortunate that your wedding turned out like this. We came here formally invited to sincerely celebrate your marriage, and yet we were told to leave. At my words, Jennifer's face turned red again as she retorted, I thought it was better for you to leave because you're subcontractors. I said it for your sake. We are highly competent people holding department head positions in major companies. We can't have a proper conversation with subcontractors like you. Jennifer claimed that she was being considerate by telling us to leave. She then looked around the venue, as if seeking agreement from others. By that time, only the families remained seated, but even they were frowning. Why, does no one understand me? I'm not saying this for no reason. There's a difference between competent people and subcontractors. We've worked hard every day since childhood to achieve our positions. Why can't you understand that? I do think it's great that you've worked hard, but everyone has their own efforts they've put in. At my words, Jennifer frowned in confusion. It seemed she couldn't accept the simple truth that everyone puts in effort, not just elites. Her attitude, implying that anyone who isn't elite is lazy, made me sigh softly. She truly only valued people based on their status and education, just as you value education and have worked hard. My father, though uneducated, has worked hard to run his company to make the local community happy. Thanks to his efforts, our construction company is beloved locally, involved in many projects, bringing smiles and gratitude from our customers. That's not effort at all. It's our company that gives you work. Your company's stability isn't due to your efforts, but because of our company. Jennifer, as if her pride was wounded, raised her eyebrows. At that moment, James began to rebuke her with a stern expression. You really don't understand, do you? Yes, your company gives out contracts, but without subcontractors to carry out the work, houses and buildings can't be built. What? It seemed she had never considered this. Jennifer stood there, dumbfounded, looking back and forth between James and us. If your thinking is correct, then why did my colleagues and I leave the venue? If the main contractor is so great, wouldn't they still be sitting here confidently? That's... As her eyes darted around in confusion, Jennifer shook her head in resignation. My father was the next to speak. You seem to believe that having a high academic background makes someone superior, and having none makes them inferior. What have you been seeing while working all this time? At his weighty words, Jennifer could only manage a faint, what? My father then fixed her with a stern look. What matters is the substance of a person, isn't it? What they actually do is important. That's why your colleagues and other business partners agreed with me and left the venue. What do you mean? Jennifer seemed genuinely clueless about the reason. Watching her stand frozen, my father continued. Among the presidents of the companies dealing with yours, many, like me, have risen through their abilities, not academic background. When you insulted us, you were also insulting all these business partners. No, I didn't know that. Jennifer, who had been red with anger moments ago, now turned pale and started trembling. She was clearly shaken by the exchange with my father. Knowing my father's true identity and realizing she had insulted many business partners seemed to have taken a heavy toll on Jennifer. I really didn't know. Davis and the former president are so mean. They should have told me. If you still don't understand after all this, then there's no helping it. Our conversation ends here. With that, my father muttered and left the venue, seemingly resigned. As I tried to follow, Jennifer grabbed my arm, forcing me to stop. What do you mean? If you want me to apologize, I will. Just tell your father to bring the other guests back. I agree with my father. Even now, you can't admit you were wrong. She first judged others based on their education and status, then tried to flatter my father once she realized his position. When that didn't work, she blamed the situation on others, acting like a spoiled child. If you look down on subcontractors so much, you probably don't want to do business with us anymore. We'll cancel the $50,000 contract that was about to be signed with your company. What? A $50,000 deal? I didn't know such a big deal was happening. Both James and I looked disappointed at her words. She was supposed to be aware of the deals her subordinates were handling. Yet it seemed she hadn't even reviewed their reports properly. Despite her questionable character, I had respected her work, so this was a disappointing revelation. I thought we had maintained a good relationship with your company for many years, so this is unfortunate. We'll be leaving now. Wait, if this happens, my reputation will be ruined. I can't lose my position as department head over this. Jennifer finally started stomping her feet, trying to stop me. Her self-centered attitude finally snapped my patience. Please, enough. I refuse to be further involved in your personal issues. No, wait, please wait. It was James who held her back from clinging to me. Stop embarrassing yourself. You're ruining our wedding. Let go. My career will be over if this continues. Even now, all Jennifer cared about was her career and job. Finally, I told her my true feelings. The previous department head treated all work with respect and dealt with subcontractors as equals. That's why we had a good relationship with your company. It's unfortunate things turned out this way. With those final words, I followed my father toward the exit. From behind, I could hear Jennifer and James arguing. In the end, I left with my father, so what happened afterward I only heard as rumors. Even with the venue almost empty from the 300 guests, Jennifer reportedly continued her tirade. I don't care if he's a local big shot. A subcontractor is a subcontractor. Who do they think keeps their company running? Having her deeply held beliefs in academic background and status completely denied, Jennifer likely couldn't back down. But as a result, she lost not only the guests but also the trust of James, her supposed life partner. Even after all that explanation, you still don't understand. If I marry you, it could affect my job. A subcontractor is a subcontractor. We can hire other contractors. They're the ones who will suffer from cutting ties with me. Despite James's criticism, Jennifer's anger remained directed at my father and me. Her stubbornness finally led James to give up. I never expected you to be so disrespectful to business partners. I can't go through with this. Our marriage is off. How can you say that? Why cancel our wedding over this? Even Jennifer was genuinely shocked and clung to him, crying. But James stood firm on his decision. Jennifer, realizing he wouldn't change his mind, turned her anger on him. It was you who sent the invitation to those miserable subcontractors. Take responsibility for ruining our wedding. You're the one who insisted on inviting all the companies we work with. You left all the wedding arrangements to me, and now you're just complaining. Jennifer excused herself by saying she was too busy with work, leaving all the wedding arrangements to James. As a result, invitations were sent even to subcontractors like us, who Jennifer would have likely excluded had she been involved, sparking the entire incident. You kept saying you were too busy to prepare, but I had work too. I should be thanked, not blamed. I hate how petty you are, blaming the wedding failure entirely on me. Are you trying to ruin me? This led to a full-blown confrontation, and they ended up divorcing on the spot. Both were taken away by their respective families, leaving the venue in a fit of rage. But the real trouble began afterward. James demanded compensation from Jennifer, including the wedding expenses. Jennifer consulted a lawyer and tried to counterclaim for damages, but her efforts failed miserably. Why am I the one at fault? How can I be responsible for the wedding being called off because of my argument with the Davis family? Told by her lawyer that she had no chance of winning, Jennifer continued to complain endlessly. As a last resort, she was advised to apologize to James directly and negotiate a reduction in the compensation. However, even then, Jennifer stuck to her own view. I'm sorry, I was wrong, so please reconsider the compensation. Can you tell me what exactly you think you did wrong and what you're apologizing for? Just being asked that made Jennifer lose her temper and start yelling. I'm the one apologizing here. I came all this way to say sorry, so just accept it. Oh, you still can't see your own faults. The problem is that you can't admit your mistakes and always try to impose your opinions on others. Why can't you understand that? With that, Jennifer completely shattered James's trust and had to accept the conditions of the compensation he demanded. As he left, James said, "I'm glad I called off our marriage," and walked away. Why didn't Jennifer try to stop him? Her pride, higher than a mountain, prevented her from facing her flaws. It's sad, in a way, that even after all this, Jennifer couldn't reflect on her actions. Burdened with a large compensation payment, she decided to make up for it through work, becoming even more determined. While her positive attitude is commendable, her approach was problematic. Since she had invited both internal and external company stakeholders to the wedding, her offensive remarks and the incident with the subcontractors were widely known. Instead of building trust with her business partners, Jennifer's condescending attitude led to many companies severing ties with her. Only then did Jennifer realize the impact of her actions and began contacting everyone desperately. "I don't mind being criticized, but please don't cut ties with our company. We've heard enough about your views and how you treat your business partners. We're canceling our contract." Hearing this from multiple companies, Jennifer finally broke down in tears. "If you cut ties with our company, it will affect you too. If our work gets disrupted, innocent employees on both sides will suffer." Business partner: "Oh, don't worry about that. We'll deal with Davis's company directly, so you don't need to worry about our employees." With that blunt reply, Jennifer finally collapsed to the floor. Afterward, our company was flooded with contracts. Surprised by the constant ringing of the phone, I asked one of the callers about the situation, and they told me about their interaction with Jennifer. As a result, our company is now busier than ever, but with my father's advice, we're managing to handle the work. Sometimes we even collaborate with rival companies, working together because it benefits everyone in the construction industry. Although they are our rivals, they are also part of the same industry. It's better for everyone to keep the industry moving smoothly rather than hoarding work and causing delays. I bet Jennifer would never make a decision like this. Maybe it was because I said something like that an unexpected visitor came to our office. It was Jennifer, looking thin and haggard. "Please help me. If things continue like this, I'll be held responsible and lose my job. Please convince the business partners to work with me again." Even when cornered, Jennifer still couldn't escape her self-centered mindset. No matter how much she suffered, she couldn't truly reflect on her actions. I slowly shook my head. "Our company doesn't have that kind of influence. I'm sorry, but I can't help you." Rejected so easily, Jennifer stood there for a while. When she realized I wouldn't change my mind, she left unsteadily. Later, I heard rumors that her company lost many major clients and was on the brink of collapse. Jennifer herself was transferred to another department because she caused the loss of many clients. She spent some time sorting documents in a windowless room, but being as ambitious as she was, she resigned, hoping to find a job where she could better utilize her skills. Despite numerous job applications, her reputation had already spread in the industry, and no one would hire her. Eventually, she had no choice but to find a job at a small company in a different field. There, Jennifer reportedly faced the same treatment she once gave us, being looked down upon by the large companies she dealt with. I heard she now regrets her past actions, as she endures harsh treatment as a subcontractor. I hope she learns to work with empathy at her new job. As for me, after Jennifer left, we resumed our business with the major companies. The new person in charge is reasonable, and we've been having very pleasant dealings. After Jennifer's departure, her former company managed to recover sales with the remaining employees working together. However, it took 10 years to cover the losses she caused. Losing trust is quick, but regaining it is a tough journey. Thanks to this whole incident, our company also saw significant growth. This success is undoubtedly due to my father. Although he had retired once, my father came out of retirement due to this incident. He's now leading our new branch as the chairman and branch manager, a lively title, guiding the local employees. I won't lose to the younger folks just yet, my father said, laughing, with a smile brighter than ever. And working alongside my father, forming a great team, is James. After breaking off his engagement with Jennifer, he requested a transfer and has been thriving in a new location. Coincidentally, he ended up in the same region as my father. They've built a strong relationship based on mutual respect. As for me, I've hired new employees at our headquarters. As a result, our business opportunities seem to be expanding even more. To ensure the happiness of our increased workforce, I will continue my daily studies and efforts as the company president.